Right.
So I love this country, and I love the freedoms that we have in this country. 1.3 million service people died in this country so that we all can be free, and we have, and my ancestors died as slaves so that I can be free. And I am not going to give up my right to be free, because I know that the entire Constitution in this United States, the United States Constitution, applies to me and my family. And I'm not going to give any of that up. And I encourage all of you to do the same. Don't give up your right for any right. Because, I want to say, I want to bring you all greetings from the free state of Missouri, where we are concealed carry. And I say free state because I consider Illinois, along with California and New York and other states, I consider those to be slave states, because slave masters can tell you what you can and cannot have and what you can and cannot do. But I like the idea that I live in what I call a free state, because I can have I can live in the house I want to live in, the home I want to buy. We own our own home. I can drive the car that I want to drive. I can buy a gun or two or more if I choose to do so, without having to worry about the government telling me and my family, yes, you can have this number of bullets in your gun, or this many rounds in your gun. You can or cannot defend yourself. Because when the Constitution was written, when they were done, they got together and they actually wrote what they called, how did they call that? The Bill of Needs. To tell you what you actually need. Is that right? No. They did not write a Bill of Needs. We have a Bill of Rights, and we need to understand what our rights are. Now, I am married. My husband and I have 13 children. 7 of our children are sons, and the other 6 are girls, and, well, of course, that's all there is. But I want you to know that I take my daughters to the gun range. I was usually on Fridays and Saturdays, and today my husband has to take 2 of my girls. But we start them really young, learning about gun safety. They know how to handle a gun, and they know really well how to shoot a gun. So if anybody wants to try to attack us or break into our home, they'll find out just how good our girls are with shooting a gun. And, I usually carry a gun with me everywhere I go. Almost everywhere I go, some places I can't.
You have it today?
You know what? The Constitution has a 5th Amendment, doesn't it? So I am not going to answer that question. But I like to carry my gun everywhere I go, and my girls are too young, but they know how to. I carry. Sometimes we'll have an extra gun or 2 in the car, so that if something does happen, if my children are with me, they know how to use a gun. They can pull it out and grab it. So, I was looking around this room. This is like a wonderful place to have this. I was looking around the room. I had to walk around about 3 different times. And I'm just looking at the history in this room. And it's absolutely incredible. And I look, one of the things that caught my eye were these 2 pictures here of lynchings. And then you see a picture back here where there's a lynching as well. So if these people actually had guns and were able to defend themselves, how many people think that they would have been lynched? It would have been really a lot more difficult for you to be lynched. So we need to remember a number of things, especially as Black Americans. Not only does the Constitution apply to all of us, the Bill of Rights applies to all of us as well, equally as it does everybody, unlike Torrey likes to think it's white privilege. But the Constitution of the United States applies to every last one of us. And my ancestors died not so that I can give up my rights, and not so that I can go back into slavery. They died and they fought slavery so that I can be free and so that my children can be free. And I'm going to do every single thing I can to make sure that my children stay free. Because even if they, when Joe Biden said they're going to put y'all back in chains, he misspoke just a little bit. He was actually talking about Democrats, not Republicans. And he just didn't realize it. Because it's the Democrats who wants to keep us in slavery. And it may not be the slavery of before, but if you are not allowed to exercise your constitutional rights in this country, you're a slave. If I'm walking down the street, come here, Tiara, please. I just met Tiara today. So if somebody is walking down the street, let's say Tiara is walking down the street by herself, okay? And all of a sudden, some man, and it's a deserted street, let's say you work late at night, you know, and you have to come home, and you live in Chicago where you're not allowed to conceal or carry. And some man said, oh, I like what I see. I think, or maybe two of them, they like what they see, and they decide, forget her rights, I want to go after her because I like this. So, what is the great equalizer that we have in this country? That's actually mentioned in our Constitution? It is the right to bear arms. So, if she is unarmed, then whoever these men are, if they wanted to, one, two, or three of them decided that they want to just have their way with her, guess what? They're going to have their way with her, and she may or may not survive it. But if she is armed, if Tiara is armed, and she, well, tell me you got a gun there, okay? How many men are going to walk up to her, and if she has her confidence with her? Is there going to be a man in here who's going to walk up to her and try it? There's no man in the world, but in his right mind, who's going to keep on walking toward her, knowing that she's getting ready to blow him away. So thank you so much, Tiara. What that is protecting us against, one, tyranny, which you have here in Chicago and in the state of Illinois, and it's also protecting us, you know, it's helping us to protect ourselves so that we can protect our families. So I applaud anyone and everyone who, especially if you're black, because I'm going to tell you, white folks have their guns. No offense. But white folks are going to have their guns. You know, if you take a look at, you know, and I'm a member of the NRA. Anybody here a member of the NRA? Good for you. Everybody in here needs to be a member of the NRA or some gun organization. You know, everyone in here needs to be, even if you can't own a gun yet. Because this is a government of the people, by the people, for the people. We are the people. And so right now the government is trying to take over. And it's time for us to put the government back in its place. We are the master, and they're working. You know, because the first person they want to disarm is going to be us. They want, you know, when it comes to gun control, we're the first ones they want to disarm. They could care less about everybody else having guns. We don't want black folks. We need to make sure that our government understands that they are the ones who are to serve us. We are not their slaves, but they have changed the tide. Everything has turned. They think that the government thinks that they are the ones who control us. The laws that you have here in the state of Illinois, plainly and simply, are unconstitutional. And you all need to get together and fight them. And let them know. Get whatever lawyers, there are organizations out there, but contact the NRA and find out what you can do to overturn every last one of those laws. Because the law of the land says that you have a right to bear arms that is not to be infringed on. And, you know, I will say, just challenge you to please don't just elect the right person who will protect your freedoms. You need to help him out as well, you know, by helping him to get these laws changed, so that the next time I drive into Illinois, anywhere in Illinois, which I drive through quite a bit, I can actually have my gun on my side without having to worry about putting it in a lock case in the back of my car with the magazine up in the front of the car, so that when somebody tries to attack me, I look at them and say, just a minute, let me go get my gun out of my lock case so that I can come and then protect myself against you. You know, self-defense should not be that difficult. It should not be that difficult for any of us. Because every last one of us has a right to defend our own selves, our own person, and our families. And as long as we understand that, and as long as we make sure that our government understands that, make sure your friends understand it, your family understands it, get together, have a group of people together in your home and just start talking to them about the Second Amendment and about what their rights are. Because every right that's afforded to whoever you think is privileged is also afforded to you. And the only way that can be, you have to give up your rights. You know, if you're giving up your rights, that's what's going to happen. You're not going to have any. And I'm not willing to give up mine. I am not willing to give up my rights, because I know that everything in the Constitution applies to me. And it applies to my family as well. So thank you all so much. And